I want to thank Gary Lynn Floyd for the music today, and Angela Davis and Gloria Nye for reading. And today we're celebrating mothers everywhere, taking a little break from our Win the Day series. We're focusing on the miracle of mother's love. And before I start, I actually want to comment on the reading because that little girl sitting in that pew has a sense of being completely enveloped in protection and love and feeling safe and secure. That feeling of being completely filled with this indescribably delicious, unconditional love that we know when someone really cares about us. Each and every one of us, whether we're little girls or women or little boys or grown men, it doesn't matter. We all crave that unconditional love. Some of us received it as babies or as children, and some of us didn't. And as adults, we look back on our earthly mothers and maybe, like the author, Lenedra Carrol, she was the little girl sitting in that pew next to that pretty lady. She didn't get that unconditional love when she was growing up. And for those reasons, I know that Mother's Day can be a little bit of a mixed bag for some people. So I want to talk about mother's love. And you might remember that last week we were talking about Albert Einstein saying that we can look at life in two ways. One is though nothing is a miracle, and the other as being everything is a miracle. And I believe that experiencing mother's love is indeed a miracle. Whether or not we're 3 or 30 or 60 or whatever, at some point in our life, I'm hoping that everyone has experienced and been lucky enough to have someone, whether it was their mother or someone else, that was so connected with them that they felt that unconditional love. They felt that feminine love that mothers provide. You know, Ernest Holmes once said that the gift of love is precious beyond rubies. Imagine a world in which absolutely every parent had the ability to impact and impart divine love to their child, impart that unconditional love to their child. Wouldn't that be a marvelous world, that we all grew up feeling safe and secure? More about that in just a minute. First, your question for the week. What's the one choice that you can make today to open your heart and fill it with love, to allow forgiveness to rain down like a flood, and to choose to be one with the divine? One more time. What's the one choice that you can make to open up your heart and fill it with love, to allow forgiveness to rain down like a flood, and to choose to be one with the divine? As I said earlier, I want to honor mothers and acknowledge the power of our earthly mother's love. And I'm also very sensitive to those who never felt that love. So to approach this mixed bag, so to say, I want to do 3 things today. Recognize the critical, important role of our earthly mothers, the one that they played in our lives, no matter how they loved us. Second, I want to look at the feminine principle or the concept of the divine mother love. And the third thing I want to do, and I think it's probably the most important, is to come full circle and connect with the divine mother love that's inside each of us. So let's start with recognizing our earthly mothers.
Good morning. My name is Nancy Wirtz. In honor of Mother's Day today, here are some thoughts to ponder. Somebody said it takes about 6 weeks to get back to normal after you've had a baby. Somebody doesn't know that once you're a mother, there is no back to normal. Somebody said a mother is an unskilled laborer. Somebody never gave a wiggling infant a bath or changed its diaper. Somebody said A mother can find all the answers to her child rearing questions in the books. Somebody never had a 2-year-old stuff beans up its nose. Somebody said you learn how to be a mother by instinct. Somebody never took a 3-year-old shopping. Somebody said the hardest part of being a mother is labor and delivery. Somebody never watched her baby go into a classroom on the first day of kindergarten. Somebody said a mother can do her job with her eyes closed and one hand tied behind her back. Somebody never organized 7 giggling brownies to sell cookies. Somebody said you don't need an education to be a mother. Somebody never helped her 4th grader with math. Somebody said being a mother is boring. Somebody never rode in a car driven by a teenager with a learner's permit. Somebody said a mother can stop worrying after her child gets married. Somebody doesn't know that marriage just adds a new son or daughter to a mother's heartstrings. Somebody said a mother's job is done when her last child leaves home. Somebody never had grandchildren. Somebody said your mother knows you love her, so you don't need to tell her. Somebody isn't a mother. If you're with your mother this morning, turn and tell her you love her. If your mother's not here, send her a smile or a blessing. Happy Mother's Day to all of you.
We all owe our mothers a deep, heartful thank you. And I say that because it's pretty simple. Without our mothers, we wouldn't be here on this planet. As Glinda said in the musical Wicked, she began to tell her story about the Wicked Witch of the West, and she said, I had a mother like so many people do. Some school-age children were asked once, why did God make mothers? And there was a myriad of answers. She's the only one who knows where the Scotch tape is. Mostly to clean house. Think about it. It's the best way to get more people. But there was really one little insightful child, and he said, to help us out of there when we're getting born. Without our mothers, we wouldn't have been born. So wherever you are on that mother continuum, on the one side of having the most nurturing, wonderful, loving, caring mother, and on the other, the Wicked Witch of the West as your mother, we each owe our mothers a thank you for bringing us into the world. Of course, a while back, one of my friends said, oh yes, but my mother believes in the full circle of life. She told me, I brought you into the world and I can take you out, but I don't plan to go there today. I've said now a couple of times that we owe our earthly mothers a thank you. So I want to pause right now and just invite you to think about your mom, whether or not they're still on this planet or have already transitioned, whether they were wonderful or not so wonderful, whether they were present in your life or absent. And just close your eyes and in the silence of your heart, thank your mother for bringing you into the world. Now, I realize this might be difficult for some of you. Just keep your eyes closed for a minute and just imagine it, just for today, just for this very moment, that we gave our earthly mothers more than a thank you. What if in the silence of our hearts, we stepped up spiritually, put on our big spiritual shoes, and chose to accept our mothers for exactly who they were? All their gifts and flaws, celebrating their gifts, and forgiving any of their flaws. Simply sending them love right here. So there's a line in the Course in Miracles that tells us there is no veil that the love of God cannot lift. So if you're finding this exercise difficult, just ask the divine to help you. Or you might embrace that first line of the poem written by Mother Teresa called Do It Anyway. It reads this way: people are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway. So I invite you now to just open your eyes and come back to this moment and take a deep breath. And just know that you are loved right here and right now. Because right now I am sending each of you a lot of love for bringing more love and forgiveness into the world just now with that exercise. So are you ready to move on? Great. Because the concept of mother is so much greater than the experience that we had with our earthly mothers. We do ourselves a grave injustice when we limit our thinking to just our earthly mother experience. In fact, the concept of feminine principle or the divine mother is quite exciting to me from that spiritual point of view. Let's take a look at it. I would say that for the majority of us, our religious upbringing referred to God as Father. And that might be why I love this mother analogy that's in the book of Isaiah. Can a mother forget her suckling child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yes, she may forget, but I will not forget you. Behold, I have inscribed you upon the palms of my hand. This is God in the mode of divine mother, not human mother with all of the history and the fears and the insecurities and so on. And trust me, we all have some insecurities, no matter how great an example we had of how to be an earthly mother. I was thinking the other day about when I watched the movie Wonder. It's about a young man who is different in so many ways. He has health issues and he requires a lot of attention, but also he has great ideas about who he can be in the world. And the movie actually looks at his life from several different points of view, one of which was his older sister. And I realized as I was watching the movie that his older sister was looking at how his mom spent so much attention on him, and she had to go through so many things alone. She lost one of her best friends in school, and her mother really wasn't even aware of it. And what it did was it tapped into some of my insecurities about what kind of mother I was and how my daughter might have felt the same because my son required so much attention. As earthly mothers, no matter how good a job we try to do, I'm sure there are things that come up and we don't feel quite adequate about the job that we did. Now, I was fortunate. My daughter is very, very independent, so she really didn't miss the fact that I wasn't always doting on her and was always having to spend more time with my son. But it's the divine mother who unconditionally nourishes and grows whatever falls upon her embrace. That nurturing love of the universe. It's the very essence of unconditional love. Dr. Ernest Holmes referred to the feminine principle as the universal womb of nature because it's creative and it's receptive and it unconditionally nurtures and grows whatever falls in its way. That's such a softer way of looking at mother than perhaps we've done before. This cosmic divine mother is always attending to her children in whatever way serves that eternal need. She gives her children the freedom, however, to choose the rocky roads if that's what they desire, to experience pain in their path. And yet, she is there when they call out for help. And like the mother birds do when it's time for the chicks to leave the nest, she pushes a little bit and pushes us out of the nest. But unlike the mother bird, our cosmic mother allows us to come back home to that divine moment, to that divine love that we know is there. That's the cosmic mother's nature. God, as the divine feminine, is unconditional love. Most of all, we've learned, and most likely would agree with, unconditional love is the most powerful force in the universe. The French mystic Pierre Teilhard de Chardin put it this way: the conclusion is always the same. Love is the most powerful energy of the world. Buddhism has a great story about the nature of that powerful energy called love. It's the voice of Zen, the feminine wisdom attributed to the Buddha. And it's told that there was this powerful macho bandit who approached the Buddha and informed him that he was a ferocious bandit and he was the mightiest in the world, and he planned to kill the Buddha to demonstrate how great he really was. And the Buddha said, well, since surely you're planning to kill me, you could first grant me 2 wishes. And the bandit said, okay, well, get on with it. And the Buddha pointed to a small sapling tree nearby and asked the bandit to cut the smallest branch of that young tree. And of course, the bandit, with one swish of his sword, it was done. And he looked at the Buddha and he says, so what's your final wish? And the Buddha bends over, picks up the small branch, hands it to the bandit and says, now put it back on. Legend has it that the bandit achieved enlightenment in that moment because he learned the true meaning of power. It was to create life, not to destroy it. Love creates, it doesn't destroy. Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind wrote this: love is the grandest healing and drawing power on earth. It is the sole impulse for creation. And that love is the love of the cosmic mother, the love that is the power to create life, not to destroy it. You might recall that the third point I wanted to make today was to come full circle and have us connect with that divine mother love that's inside each of us. You know, as individual expressions of God, we each have all of that divine mother love right there within us. In the music right before the talk, One with the Divine, Gary wrote about a portal to awakening living in God's love. This Mother's Day can be a chance for each of us to continuously connect or to reconnect with that principle of the divine feminine that lives within us. That true power of unconditional love, that power of creation that resides right within us. And to help us do that, I've asked Angela to share a story with you that appeared in the nightly news a few years ago in Burlington, Iowa. It really illustrates the power of unconditional love, that power of the feminine principle, and the activity of the Divine Mother when it's not covered up by human filters. And the teaser headline was this: Dog has kittens for lunch.
Hi, my name is Angela Davis, and I'm going to share with you the story about Dog Has Kittens for Lunch. And the narrative goes like this. You can understand why some visitors to Burlington, Iowa, Humane Society got a little freaked out. See, it's not every day that a dog has kittens for lunch, and not just a kitten. This dog is about to have a whole litter of kittens for lunch. The story of this unusual dining arrangement began a couple of months ago. Lily, a mix of lab and who knows what else, was found alongside an old dirt road. She was pregnant, and she had 6 puppies soon after, who all got adopted, and everything was normal until one day the kittens showed up with no mother. Teresa Kurt, who works for the shelter, said, "We didn't know what to do. It would have taken a whole lot of effort to bottle feed all those kittens." So then she came up with a very possible solution. Even though there's a big difference between a dog and a cat, we thought, let's just try. Try and see if Lily would have the kittens for lunch, which she did, breakfast and dinner too. And she nurtured them in other ways, such as when one of the kittens fell into her water dish. She rescued the little troublemaker and carried him off to safety. So is Lily unique, a one of a kind? Perhaps not. Listen to this. There was a cat that heard an abandoned fawn crying for food and took in the little deerlet, or a goat that raised a baby horse. And perhaps most amazing of all was the leopard who, in killing a baboon, unwillingly created an orphan. The leopard could have easily made the baby an appetizer, but instead sat down beside and mothered it. Why would an animal show such grace? Science is still scratching its head trying to unravel these mysteries, but the instinct to love and nurture is deeply wired into all beings. And when you take away all the factors and influences, that's exactly what we do.
So when you take away outside factors and influences, love is what we do, because love is who and what we are. We are each made in the image and likeness of the cosmic mother. Whether we are made feminine or male, it makes no difference. We each carry within us that divine feminine, unconditional love. Lenedra Carrol, remember she was the lady in the story, wrote this: "This love, in truth, simply is. Love is. Love is the essence of the life force surrounding us. It is what allows everything to have cohesion. Love is both our birthright and our legacy. Love is the original blueprint of our soul." Wow, what a beautiful thing to remember. Love is the original blueprint of our soul. I think on Mother's Day, sometimes it's important for us to remember that love is who we are. And it's right within us. We don't have to search for it. We don't have to work at it. We don't have to win it. It is who we are. It's in us. It's around us. We can take refuge in love when we're afraid. We can tap into it to heal our hearts. We can send it out to our hurting friends. We can deepen into it and allow it to be the sole impulse for building our lives. Each Sunday when we as a community send out love to people that we know are hurting, I know that they feel it. I've had numerous evidence of that. It truly is true what Chardin wrote. Love is the most powerful energy of the world. So I invite you today to remember just that, to build your life on a solid foundation of the love of the Divine Mother. It surrounds you. It is you. It comes from you, and it goes back to you. So once again, let me wish all mothers a happy Mother's Day. And let us remember the critical role that our mothers played in our lives. Be grateful for her, whether she was wonderful or not so wonderful. And remember just to accept her with all her flaws and all her gifts. Remember that we are one with the divine feminine. Love is the most powerful energy on the world. There's that divine mother within you, that powerful, unconditional love within each of us. Let's tap into it. We can tap into it to heal others and to heal ourselves. So here's the affirmation for the week. How is it today I so easily and willingly make the one choice to open my heart and fill it with love? To allow forgiveness to rain down like a flood, and to choose to be one with the divine. And your challenge for this week is to love unconditionally. Forgive the flaws of others, especially your mothers, and make that choice to be one with the divine. Let all the dawn break within you, and be moved by the emotion of love. Let's pray. So we just settle into this moment, breathing in that divine feminine, recognizing that unconditional love that flows through each and every one of us. What I know to be the absolute truth is that each of us at some point in our lives has had someone that showed us exactly what unconditional love looked like, even if it was just for a few moments. So we all know what it feels like. We all know what it looks like. And I just know that this week, each of us is taking that knowing and spreading it throughout this planet, making this planet a better place to be. So it's with great gratitude for this community, with great gratitude for knowing that each of us understands this concept of unconditional love, that I release all of this into the law of mind, spirit, and action, knowing the truth, that God's already called it good, that unconditional divine mother has already blessed it and noticed the love resulting from it. So I know it's already done. I can just say amen, and we can affirm it together. And so it is.